Greetings, citizens of Bangladesh. We are anonymous. Many of you asked after our last expose. Why now? Why Biman? Why focus on an already failed airline, when there are wars, genocides, and corruption tearing the world apart? What's our hidden agenda? What's the motive? We will tell you. And it's not what you expect. This time, it's personal. 2 years ago, amidst the noise of countless tips, leaks, and cries for help that flood our inbox every day, there came one email. It was quiet. It was almost overlooked. It came from a woman inside Biman Bangladesh Airlines. Her words were haunting. But at that moment, we didn't act. We didn't look closely enough. We thought we had more time. We were wrong. By the time we mobilized our people on the ground to reach her, she was already gone. She had chosen silence, the kind that no one returns from. That moment broke us. We, who have faced governments, billionaires, warlords, and intelligence agencies. We felt helpless. We felt responsible. We should have done more. We should have moved faster. When we reached her family, the truth shattered us even further. She had been battling unbearable PTSD ever since leaving her job at Biman. Haunted by harassment. Crushed by abuse. Betrayed by a system that chewed her up, spat her out, and left her to suffer in silence. At first, we wanted only to find the man who pushed her to that edge. We thought it would end there. But what we uncovered was something far darker. Far deeper. It wasn't just one man. It wasn't just two. We found an entire empire of rot. A vast, silent machinery of abuse, protected by power, guarded by silence, and soaked in fear. And now, we are done waiting. This is no longer just an investigation. This is a reckoning. And it begins now. We thought, naively, that perhaps someone inside would rise. That some honest soul would step forward. That justice would emerge from within. So we watched. Quietly. Patiently. From the shadows, we waited. Hoping that someone, somewhere, would finally speak. That reforms would begin. That accountability would finally rise. But days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. And nothing changed. The predators grew bolder. The whispers grew softer. And the wounds, they only grew deeper. That's when we realized. No one was coming. No one would save them. So we will. Understand this. We do not expose pain for spectacle. We do not chase drama. We do this for justice. For those who never got closure. For those still trapped in fear. And for the one we lost, whose silence still echoes through everything we do. Now, we speak. Loudly. Relentlessly. Because this time, no one escapes. Now, listen carefully. What you're about to hear isn't some hidden secret buried in vaults or locked rooms. In fact, nearly 80% of it is already out there. In newspapers. In leaked rosters. In whispered cockpit conversations. In hushed crewroom chatter. In shadowed corners of social media. The rest. We bring it to you. With evidence. Along the way, we also spoke to their wives. To their families. To their closest friends. Many of them still believe these men are saints. Loving husbands. Devout Muslims. Kind-hearted souls. They have no idea what these men truly are. We did not shatter their illusions. Not yet. Because we had to protect our people on the ground. But now. Now they deserve to know. Some of you won't believe what you're about to hear. Some marriages will fall apart. Some families will never be the same again. Some people will never trust anyone again. But the truth must breathe. What follows is not just a report. It is an indictment. An obituary for innocence. A call for reckoning. And this time, there will be no mercy. We will start with the small things first. Because the rot, this decay of ethics and integrity, does not begin mid-flight. It starts at the very beginning. at the gates of opportunity, at the exam halls, at the recruitment desks. As some of you already know, your skies were sold long ago. Sold to the unqualified. In 2019 and 2020, a pilot recruitment scam unfolded, one so blatant, it was almost a joke. They shamelessly inflated test scores with grace marks, 10 in written, 20 in MCQ. This wasn't a small bump. It was an avalanche of corruption, raising the passing count from just 4 to a staggering 32. Who got in? Zara Murshid bin Mondira, Rizwan al-Islam Rosal, Rubab Islam Khan, Saad bin Kamal, S. Khan Munif, Captain Maksud's son, Muqtadi Ahmed, Mamujal Hassan Rafid, Zunawyed Rafiq, Saqif Sadmam. They didn't earn their wings. They were handed to them. And now, they sit in the cockpits of multi-million-dollar aircraft bought in taxpayer money, carrying your families. But it didn't stop there. In 2022, another wave of rot surfaced. Captain Sajid Ahmed, then Chief of Training, leaked recruitment ads early to select pilots. He slashed requirements, cutting flying hours, removing qualifications. And as if mocking the entire system, he let his own wife, Sadia Ahmed, join with a forged degree. Her license was eventually revoked, but not before Biman lost a staggering amount of money. And then comes the king of the puppet masters, Captain Ishtiaq Hossain. He flew to London on state money, despite not even being rostered. He stayed extra days, under the guise of duty, and returned with Sheikh Rihana, a political errand disguised as work. And just like that, his son, Saadif Hossain, was placed into the cockpit. Others followed. Bushra Siddiqa, First Officer Qadidar's wife. Mohammed Sheikh, Captain Halil's son. Charmin Chowdhury, Captain Hasnain's daughter. Nepotism. Cronyism. Treason in uniform. The disease begins here. And everything that follows is just a symptom of this first infection. But before all of this, before the pilot scams, before the forged degrees, before the nepotism in cockpits, your national airline had already become something far worse. A flying cargo cartel. Between 2013 and 2015 alone, more than 756 kilograms of gold were discovered on Biman flights. And let's be honest, these were just the unlucky shipments that got caught. Gold smuggling has become such a common ritual in your national carrier that it's practically part of the flight schedule. These days, it's so routine that every time you flip open a newspaper or scroll social media, there's another gold bust. 1 or 2 incidents a week, like clockwork. It's not even shocking anymore. It's entertainment. Passengers check arrival times, and smugglers check the headlines. But it didn't stop with gold. In 2020, a Biman cargo flight was caught carrying 12.32 kilograms of amphetamine to Australia. Then came human trafficking. On March 18, 2025, Biman official Shaukat Ali was arrested for aiding the infamous human trafficker Mohammed Fakhruddin. Their operation? Using Biman crew identities, fake boarding passes, and backdoor airport clearances to smuggle people through Libya. And somehow, the very people responsible for preventing these crimes, they thrived. Take Mr. Rashidul Karim, the former GM of Cargo. Many of these gold incidents, trafficking loopholes, and cargo mishaps happened under his watch. But was he investigated? No. He was promoted. Twice. Today, he sits as Director of Customer Services. Now, here's where we draw the line. When it came to smuggling, perhaps he turned a blind eye. Perhaps he simply wasn't watching closely enough. But when it came to protecting his crews, especially women, he didn't just fail. He betrayed. When a female passenger was sexually harassed mid-flight, Mr. Karim led the internal investigation. And the result? A mere demotion for the offender. A coward solution. One that sent a crystal clear message throughout the airline. Predators will be protected here. Victims will be silenced. Under his leadership, harassment complaints didn't just vanish. They were crushed. Victims were punished. And worse, many say this protection of predators continues to this day. The cases kept piling up. Some whispered about rape too. But no one dares speak openly. Because in Biman, silence isn't just survival. It's mandatory. But the corruption didn't stop there. Now, smuggling inside Biman isn't just about gold or drugs anymore. It's more advanced, more creative, more profitable. And we know exactly how it works. We have the list. Yes, an actual, detailed list. A list of items, with prices, circulated discreetly among the crew members. Here's how it works. Veteran smugglers inside the airline, led by none other than Flight Purser Abir, your so-called union leader and now a full-time smuggler, hand over contact numbers of select businessmen, mostly from Gulshan's DCC market, to newly joined crew members. Along with those numbers, they provide a shopping list. A detailed manual of smuggling. What's on it? Everything from milk, biscuits, juice, mayonnaise, cheese, butter, shampoo, conditioner, face creams, chocolates, soap, powder, toothpaste, even medicines. Yes, this is your national airline. Crew members bring these items from abroad, then sell them in Dhaka at triple the price. For example, a chocolate bar bought for $3 abroad, sold here for almost $10. And the system is seasonal. During Ramadan, tang and dates flood the smuggling channels. Valentine's Day, chocolates, perfumes, and fancy gift sets. Winter, creams and lotions fill their bags. Some crew members now earn over 2 lakh taka per month from this smuggling alone. Often making more from this than from their actual salaries. And here's where it gets even filthier. Mobile phones and cigarettes remain the premium commodities. Flights to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, London, and Manchester are the most profitable runs. Crew on these flights smuggle high-end phones, each bringing in between 5,000 to 8,000 taka profit per piece. Cigarettes, often banned or heavily taxed in Europe, are smuggled in by the carton and resold at double or triple the rate in hotels and crew circles. Even the in-flight items such as blankets, cutlery, crew meals, and amenity kits, all bearing the Biman logo, can be found in street markets of your own capital. These are items meant for passengers. Their sale reflects not just theft, but an organizational culture of petty criminality. This entire racket is so normalized that crew rosters are manipulated specifically to ensure repeat offenders get the profitable routes. Who controls those rosters? Kohanur Begum Anika, the now-retired scheduling manager with a strong connection with the former regime, built a black market roster algorithm over the years. She placed smuggling-friendly crew on back-to-back Middle East or Europe sectors. Her favorite protégés: Flight Stewardess Ellen, Flight Stewardess TV, and Flight Steward Tabraz, were very recently caught at Dhaka airport carrying alcohol and gold. But guess what happened? Some high-ranking director made a call. And just like magic, the entire case vanished. The punishment? They didn't get to keep the goods this time. That's it. No suspension. No blacklisting. No jail. They simply had to hand over their loot. And were sent on their way, ready for the next run. That's Biman's idea of accountability. This is the absurdity of your national airline today. From the roster planners, to the smugglers, to the officials making those calls. Everyone's playing their part. And while the public struggles, these people are laughing, drinking, and selling. All on flights bearing the flag of Bangladesh. And yes, we will publish the full list of these smuggled items, their prices, by the end of this video. Because enough is enough. Now, we descend into the darkest pit of this airline. The most horrifying, sickening part. For years, Biman's management and unions have been parading around a single phrase like it's their sacred shield. Crew shortage. They say it on the news. They say it in meetings. They whisper it to justify every rotten decision. But here's the truth. There is no shortage of pilots. What they have is a shortage of integrity. This shortage isn't a crisis. It's not a staffing problem. It's a curtain. A smoke screen. A carefully crafted excuse to keep the monsters flying. Behind that phrase hides an army of predators. Men who should have been fired, blacklisted, and dragged to court. Instead, they remain in power. Why? Because the moment they're removed, the whole rotten system risks collapsing. And the numbers speak for themselves. 9 out of 15 female pilots, yes, 60%, have filed formal complaints, alleging harassment, intimidation, abuse. And what happened? Nothing. Those complaints were buried faster than evidence in a dictatorship. Victims were gaslit, silenced, reassigned, or driven out of their careers entirely. The Bangladesh Airlines Pilots Association and Biman's management ensured those files stayed locked away. Why? Because the predators weren't just random men. They were union protectees. They were politically shielded. They were part of the inner circle. So remember this. When Biman cries about shortages, they are not short on pilots. They are short on morality. Their so-called shortage is nothing but a shield. A grotesque cover story designed to protect rapists, harassers, and fraudsters under the guise of necessity. They will tell you they have no choice. They will pretend their hands are tied. But the truth? They chose this. They built the system. They feed it, protect it, and weaponize it. Because it's profitable. Because it's convenient. Because it lets them hide behind pilot shortage while the predators roam free. So next time you hear them say, "We have a crew shortage," know what it really means. We are protecting abusers. We are shielding criminals. We are complicit. Over the course of this investigation, we reached out to more than 100 female crew members. What we uncovered was not just a pattern of abuse. It was a culture of fear. Of institutional gaslighting. Of weaponized silence. Some shared horrific details. Others said nothing. Those who did come forward did so through whispers. Through encrypted apps. Through sleepless nights and trembling hands. They feared not just professional retaliation, but real-world violence, destruction of their families' reputations, and engineered media smears. Some have already suffered through it. Others know it's coming. The stories we collected are not rumors. They are lived experiences. Told by survivors who endured the same predators, across flights, across years, across continents. The names. Disturbingly consistent. The behaviors. Eerily identical. The first name in our long list. The Midnight Caller, First Officer M.A. Kidder Chowdhury. From fake Snapchat accounts to fake Facebook profiles, he stalks young recruits, inviting them to his room with one sickening line. "Come to my room. I'm alone." Even after his wife joined the airline, he never stopped. His ringtone is now known among female crew as the sound of a predator. Next. Captain Rabi, the Grandpa Flirt. A walking caricature of old man entitlement. He rings up female crew late at night, saying he's lost his glasses or asking them to watch movies. "He's old enough to be my grandfather," one crew member whispered in horror. Yet he brags openly about his under-25 girlfriends, like some twisted Leonardo DiCaprio fantasy. And the cruel joke. After our first video, Biman created a committee to investigate harassment. Guess who sits on it? Captain Rabi himself. A grotesque performance, staged by director of admin Abdur Rafiq. And then comes the most chilling name of all, the serial predator. The fraudster. The lawbreaker. The master manipulator. Captain Abdur Rahman. Already infamous for his forged ATPL license, he is far worse than most realize. Women say he starts with fake romance, collects intimate photos, and then weaponizes them as blackmail. One woman described him as having a DGFI fan club, using state agency names like magical incantations to scare young crew into submission. One woman said, "I only escaped when he found a new target, but my freedom came at the cost of another's nightmare." He has been married multiple times, currently to a cabin crew whom he's preparing to send abroad, while he stays back, to hunt again. He owns properties in the UK, businesses in the Middle East, and brags about his so-called intelligence connections. We found a WhatsApp account where he used the DGFI logo to impersonate an agent. The number? It belongs to his security guard, who doesn't even know what WhatsApp is. In one of his texts that he sent to one of his friends during the time when a female reporter was investigating him for his forged license, he is seen trying his DGFI connection again to silence the reporter, which failed miserably. We also uncovered multiple email accounts belonging to him, and in one of his accounts he is seen threatening a female crew in the name of intelligence agencies. According to Bangladesh Penal Code Section 170, 419, and 468, impersonating an intelligence agent, issuing threats, and falsifying documents are punishable by years in prison. And yet, he flies on. Mr. Abdur Rahman, we have been watching you closely. Since March 1st, 2025, your shadow has never left our sight. Some of what we've witnessed cannot yet be spoken aloud. But let this be clear. No victims were needed to come forward. We saw it ourselves. The incidents, the precise coordinates of the places, the exact moments, etched permanently. You roam around Biman, spinning your tails, crying separated, playing the victim. But our quiet conversations with your wife told us otherwise. Your mask is slipping. We've seen the truth behind your lies. Judgment is coming for you. Sooner than you think. You just don't know it yet. Next. The covered creeper, Captain Imran. His favorite lie. I'm separated. Then he escalates. I dreamed about you, he whispers. His behavior? Described as a wolf pretending to prey. Fake empathy. Hidden fangs. And yes, his separated story. A lie. We met his wife too. And then. The serial gropper, Captain Yusuf Mahmood. Flying with him is entering a predator's den. He bruises arms, cracks vile jokes, and touches women openly in flight. One said, he whispered something so disgusting, I almost dropped a hot coffee pot. He laughs, bragging that nothing ever happens, despite harassment complaints. One flight attendant even filed a formal complaint against him on November 7, 2024. The result? A fake committee, no action, and he kept flying under the excuse of pilot shortage. Next. The chill expert, First Officer Mishfiq Niyaz. Recently married, yet constantly texting female crew late at night. Come to my room. Just us. He floods Snapchat with unwanted messages. His wife still thinks he's an angel. Everyone else in Biman knows the truth. Next. The hand specialist, Captain Ishtiaq. His sick ritual? Palm reading. Under the guise of reading stars, he gropes hands mid-flight, lingering, touching, invading. Women described it as burning. He wrapped his hands around mine, and I wanted to vomit, multiple crew members said. And then. The midnight howler, Captain Sohail. His method? Hotel room psychological terror. He calls the landline every 15 minutes throughout the night until women unplug the phone in fear. Next. The threat maker, First Officer Shafi. Openly blocks paths in flight, smirks, and whispers threats. I have intelligence connections, he says. Come to my room, or you'll regret it. One woman said, I thought he might actually hurt me. Then comes Captain Arifin. He always says, it was just a mistake. But that's what they all say. Except, this mistake was him stroking a woman's stomach mid-flight. He laughed, she said. I froze. My whole body went cold. Another attendant confirmed the same behavior. He laughs. They tremble. Next. The double-meaning demon, Captain Abed. Any spice under your uniform? He asks several crew members with a repulsive laugh. He grazes arms while pretending to serve trays. A known predator yet protected. Even an official harassment complaint against him which made news headlines was buried under pressure. A special mention to Captain S. Hosen. While his wife stays abroad, he is seen living with a young crew member half his age across various social media platforms. We thought his wife deserved to know. When senior officers flaunt their affairs so brazenly, it sends a dangerous message to others. This is normal. This is acceptable. This is power. Captain S. Hosen is not just a cheater. He is a role model for predators. And that makes him more dangerous than he appears. But the horror doesn't end with the men in the cockpit. No. It runs far deeper into the very aisles of your aircraft, behind every meal cart, under every polished smile. Let us introduce you to some of them. First, Flight Steward Shopno. One of the most depraved predators we've uncovered inside Biman. His name came up again and again, whispered in terror. Multiple women have accused him of rape. Since late 2023, he has left behind a trail of shattered lives, forcing himself on young crew members, manipulating them with false promises of love, marriage, and protection. And when his lies didn't work, he used force. In one horrifying case, he locked a woman inside a hotel room, assaulted her again and again. In another, he preyed on a vulnerable crew member during a layover, leaving her bruised in ways that never healed. Yet another incident. During a so-called union meeting, a place meant for solidarity, he struck again. But Shopnell didn't stop there. He stalked them. He tormented them. He laughed while they wept in silence. And now, he walks free, smirking, while his victims still hide, afraid to even breathe his name. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, there's Flight Steward Adnan, known among his colleagues for his drunken exploits during international layovers. But his crimes go far beyond intoxication. In Istanbul, he allegedly forced alcohol onto a young female crew member. Then, while she was unconscious, he took what he wanted. The aftermath? Silence. The victim, bound by fear, vanished into the shadows. Then there's Flight Steward Sakin, the master of emotional blackmail, weaponizing love and marriage as tools of torture. He trapped one woman under the guise of affection, then subjected her to relentless physical and psychological abuse. His obsession didn't stop there. There are reports of him screaming outside her home, causing scenes that neighbors still remember. According to our internal sources within law enforcement, he is currently under investigation by the PBI. But we know how that story often ends. Now we speak of Flight Purser Suman. His record is long and vile. A recent complaint was filed against him by a female flight attendant. It even reached your media. And yet, nothing happened. Why? Because his union, led by none other than Mr. Aber, shielded him once again. But his history goes back much further. In 2013, during a layover in Belgium, he attempted to rape a fellow crew member. He was only stopped when another crew member heard her scream, bursting into the room to save her. That incident should have ended his career. Instead, he stayed. He thrived. And every year that passed without consequence only emboldened him further. Lastly, we come to Flight Steward Shishir. On a flight to Toronto, he verbally abused and harassed a female crew member. An incident that made national headlines. But her justice? She was the one punished, forced by her peers to apologize to her abuser, in front of others, while he watched with a grin. And it doesn't stop there. Shishir is also infamous for sending unsolicited nude videos of himself to various women, one of which leaked into a Biman crew group chat. Everyone inside Biman knows exactly what we're talking about. This isn't hearsay. It's an open secret. These men walk among you, flying multi-million-dollar aircrafts, serving tea, securing exits, charming passengers. But behind closed doors, they are monsters. Predators. Protected by a culture of silence. Now, listen carefully. If you think some of these men didn't do enough to deserve being named here, you are mistaken. There are crimes we have uncovered that are simply too specific, too dangerous to detail publicly right now. Because revealing them would instantly expose their victims. Victims who still live in fear, in a system that punishes them for speaking, not the predators. Since the start of this investigation, we have gathered disturbing materials. Audio recordings, videos, photographs, They are vile, grotesque, beyond comprehension. But we will not release them. Not yet. Not because it isn't real, but because the women who are in them live in a country where shame is a bigger punishment than the crime. They fear losing their jobs, their marriages, their families, their reputations. They fear the public spectacle, the news headlines, the snickering colleagues, and the silent HR offices that never help. Many of these women pleaded with us. Please, do not release anything. They will ruin my life. And we heard them. And so, the evidence remains locked away, until an independent, impartial judicial committee is formed and an environment of victim protection and anonymity is ensured. But let this be clear. The truth is already out. The names are now spoken aloud. And they will never again be buried. Some monsters may not have been named here today. But that does not mean they are safe. We also received a sealed testimony, a story only shadows know. One woman, whose pain still echoes in every word she wrote, asked us not to tell her story. Not publicly. Not in any traceable form. She had tried once before, to speak, to resist. And Biman burned her life down for it. Let us just say this, she was a woman of integrity, once hopeful, once dreaming of becoming something. She crossed paths with a man who introduced himself as a well-wisher, then quickly revealed himself as a captor. He manipulated her, tracked her movements, threatened her family using military agency names, destroyed her career, and shattered her dreams with the precision of a practiced predator. She thought she had escaped. But the nightmare followed her, false news leaks and digital blackmail. Her name smeared. Her reputation dragged into the mud. All because she dared to say no. She now lives in fear, broken, beaten, bruised. Her story has been securely encrypted and sealed with legal timestamping as part of a larger whistleblower archive, to be revealed only in the presence of impartial judicial protection. She didn't ask for sympathy. Only safety. She wrote to us. You said you are the shadow and the shield. I need that shield now more than ever. And we will honor that. But her message echoes on, they will never come for the abusers. They will come for me. But predators don't thrive without protectors. And now, it's time to name them. Captain Ishtiaq Hosen. The architect of nepotism. The master manipulator of rosters. The man who weaponized scheduling like a chessboard of corruption. He doesn't just protect scam pilots and sexual predators under the fake crisis of pilot shortage. He created it. He built it, brick by brick. He ensured predators stay in rotation, while victims are driven out. Then we have Kohenur Bigamonika, the retired roster queen of smugglers. Her legend echoes on in every crew room. She built a black market roster empire. If you had enough cash or enough dirt, she'd put you on the most profitable routes. She protected not just petty thieves but smugglers, rapists, and predators alike. In her hands, your safety wasn't just compromised. It was sold. And now we come to one of the darkest names on this list. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Taslima Akhtar. Her name brings rage to every crew member we've spoken to. With only an MBBS degree and no specialized aviation medicine training, she has ruled Biman's medical facility like a medieval dungeon for years. During the COVID-19 pandemic, her department forced crew after crew to undergo unnecessary, repeated tests, extracting fees, draining resources, pushing fear. The 3 crore taka allocated annually for the medical center to procure essential equipment? It vanished. The result? Nothing but empty rooms, rusted beds, and broken machines. Crew members still have to get their mandatory diagnostics at their own expense from outside clinics because the in-house facility has nothing but dust. But it doesn't stop there. She mocks sick crew to their faces. If you walk into her office seeking medical help, you'll hear it. You're lying. You just don't want to fly. You're faking. And now, for a bit of comedy. This infamous Biman Medical Center? It's located in a place so remote, so ridiculous, that even healthy people would fall sick just trying to reach it. The road leading there is a pothole-filled nightmare, jagged, broken, and twisted like the ethics of those running it. Inside Biman, there's an old joke. If you're dying, good luck. Because before you can even file for sick leave, you'll have to survive the road to the medical center. Only after dragging your half-dead body across that terrain, will they consider stamping your sick leave request. Even if you're bleeding out, first you must cross the path of pain. This is not a joke. It's Biman's reality. And now, we come to Flight Purser Abir. The union boss. The puppet master. A man who has turned rape into a political currency. He has amassed plots in prime areas, factories under fake names, and luxury properties, all by running smuggling networks and silencing victims. His most loyal foot soldier? None other than the rapist flight steward Shopno. Abir shields him, protects him, and even sends him as his mouthpiece to union programs and meetings. Imagine that. A known predator, representing the union. This is the face of Biman's crew welfare system, where the rapists lead the discussions, and the victims stay home in fear. And finally, Captain Mathab, president of the pilot union. The man who preaches justice on TV but defends license forgers and sexual predators behind closed doors. His union protects criminals as if it's a religion. He's turned the pilot union into a fortress of predators. A safe haven for men who destroy lives midair and on the ground. But it goes deeper. As we infiltrated further, we uncovered something more chilling than even we expected. Inside Biman's cockpit ranks, there's a civil war. On one side, the nepotism pilots. Sons, daughters, nephews of senior captains and directors who got their wings not through skill but through family ties. On the other, the ex-Air Force pilots. They look down on the civilian recruits. They treat them like dirt, like they don't belong in their skies. This turf war isn't just bad blood. It's operational sabotage. Pilots sabotaging rosters. Refusing to fly with certain colleagues. Jeopardizing flights out of sheer ego. And when female pilots dared to speak up, 9 of them, to be exact, they were destroyed. They're harassers. Men protected by the unions and the ex-Air Force cliques. No inquiry. No accountability. Instead, Biman pulled out their favorite excuse. Pilot shortage. No punishment. No justice. Some of those brave women resigned. Others were thrown onto punishing rosters. A message to every other woman in uniform. Speak up, and you'll be next. But the cockpit is only half the nightmare. Inside the cabin crew ranks, it's worse. A leaked document from several internal crew WhatsApp groups shows the true face of Biman's cabin crew environment. It's not just unprofessional, it's pure emotional carnage. Senior crews bully, insult, and threaten each other daily. Newcomers are treated like animals, slut-shamed, verbally abused, and mocked for even the smallest mistake. One wrong greeting? Prepare for humiliation. One minor error? Prepare to be publicly destroyed. And it gets worse. 2 newly joined young female cabin crew posted a harmless TikTok video of themselves dancing inside their own room, off-duty. What followed was an avalanche of hatred. They were called prostitutes, accused of disgracing the uniform, and torn apart in front of hundreds of their colleagues. No manager stepped in. Some senior staff even encouraged the mob. In fact, they laughed about it in private chats, openly stating the girls deserved it. The digital culture inside Biman is so toxic, so vicious, that some crew members began taking medical leave just to escape their own phones. Think about that. When the online world inside your company is so vile that people fall sick. What horrors unfold during long-haul flights? During international layovers? Inside hotel rooms, far from home? Where there's no HR watching. No cameras. No witnesses. And no escape. Now we request to each and every one of you, every time you see a female crew member smile on board, ask yourself, what did she survive to still be here? Because behind that smile may lie sleepless nights, unwanted messages, midnight knocks, roster manipulations, and abuse buried under layers of institutional betrayal. And yet, they carry on, not because they are safe, but because they have no other choice. Until Biman changes. Until these men are held accountable. Until every union and manager is restructured with transparency and justice. This airline will remain a predator's paradise funded by the public's hard-earned money. And the wings of Bangladesh will remain soaked in the silence of those it broke. We have a question for Biman Bangladesh Airlines. How does a parasite call itself self-sufficient? Biman loves to repeat one line like a holy chant. We run entirely on our own revenue. The government gives us nothing. Even the state minister for civil aviation puffed his chest and said, "We pay our salaries ourselves. No budget from the government." But let's peel back the curtain. In 2007, your debt-riddled mess was magically forgiven. 2,980 crore taka, gone, wiped clean like a spoiled child's slate. That's more than what some entire ministries get in a year. And what did you learn? Mismanage more, DACA will rescue us. Today, your unpaid bills stack up like a house of fraud. 6,327 crore taka owed to civil aviation. 2,000 crore taka owed to state-owned oil company. $520 million in aircraft loans, guaranteed by the people. Total public exposure? Over 15,000 crore taka. Equivalent to building 6,000 schools or 150 hospitals. Instead, that money burns to keep your fake glory flying. And here's the trick. You don't pay your bills to other state agencies. You strangle them, then make them raise prices for everyone else. So every liter of jet fuel Biman gulps. The taxpayers paid for it. You boast about profit. 282 crore taka last year? But where's the part where you skip fuel bills? Where's the part where you leave airport fees unpaid? That's not profit. That's fraud. Dressed up as national pride. And let's not forget the ticking time bomb. 7,400 crore taka in sovereign guarantees. If Biman misses even one payment, guess who pays? The farmer who's never been on a plane. The mother who can't get medicine in a rural clinic. The teacher who waits months for her salary. All for what? A Facebook photo op with a shiny new jet. A vote bank of patronage jobs. A parking lot for retired Air Force brass. Your airline is not a business. It's a taxpayer-funded bonfire of incompetence. And the people are footing the bill. One broken road, one unfinished hospital, one crushed dream at a time. So, Biman, stop lying. You are not self-funded. You are state-funded. You are debt-funded. You are people-funded, without their consent. Mainstream media of Bangladesh. You have failed your people. You flood your airwaves with breaking news and dramatic headlines, chasing clicks and TRPs like moths to a flame. But when it truly matters, when truth demands persistence, you vanish. You shout when it's safe. You roar when it's fashionable. But when the real work begins, when it's time to follow through, you go silent. Yes, you've covered some of these stories. Yes, you've reported some of these scandals. But we ask you, have you followed up? Have you stayed with it? Have you fought for the victims when the headlines faded? No. The work you were supposed to do, the work you were entrusted to do, is now being done by strangers. Strangers from across oceans. Strangers who didn't even know an airline named Biman Bangladesh existed. How embarrassing is that? That it took hackers, activists, outsiders, people with no ties to your country, to fight your battle. You were meant to be the fourth pillar of democracy. Not a pawn in political chess games. Not a mouthpiece for ministries. Not a circus of paid clowns performing for ratings. In your mad race for views and shares, you've forgotten the weight of your words. You publish unverified stories. You twist facts to fit your agendas. You destroy reputations with one click, without apology, without consequence. One false headline can ruin a life. And yet, you just move on to the next scandal. Like a wrecking ball with no remorse, leaving broken lives in your wake. When did you stop being watchdog? And start becoming stage performers? We'll ask again. Where are your values? Where is your backbone? Where is your conscience? Start acting like journalists. Or step aside. Because the truth doesn't wait for your permission. And neither do we. To the people of Bangladesh. We have watched you. From the shadows. For years. We have watched you rise in fury. Only to fall back into your comfortable silence. We have watched you fight over the pettiest of squabbles. While your daughters are destroyed in the shadows. We have watched your social media feeds flooded with rape videos. Laughing. Sharing. Mocking. Debating like it's entertainment. While the victims drown in shame. And the abusers roam free. We've watched you politicize every crime. Twisting every injustice into a party slogan. Turning rapists into heroes because they share your political colors. Turning justice itself into a punchline. Making every crime about your tribal loyalties instead of right or wrong. And after everything we have uncovered. After every victim we've spoken to. After every monster we've exposed. We now tell you this plainly. We don't expect anything from you anymore. You have shown your true face. Power-hungry. Petty. Morally bankrupt. One dictator falls. And what happens? You scramble like vultures. Fighting for the scraps of power. While nothing changes. You scream about your freedom. You chant about your democracy. But we see you for what you are. Addicted to political circuses. Obsessed with rallies and banners. More concerned about renaming airports and stadiums. Than protecting your own daughters from predators. And honestly, we doubt if many of you even care about your daughters. Your wives. Your sisters. Or anyone beyond your political tribe. We. Thousands of miles away. Strangers who have never walked your streets. Care more about your women than you do. Because we always stand with the oppressed. We always fight for the unheard. And we don't do it for politics or money. We do it for justice. So here's your harsh truth. If you have even a shred of backbone left, stop your pathetic infighting. Stop your rallies about nonsense. Stop screaming about party colors and start screaming about real reforms. Because no amount of flag waving or street marching will save you from the abyss you're walking into. Reform. Rebuild. Or drown. The choice is yours. We will fight for the oppressed regardless. But we will not save those who refuse to save themselves. And now, a message to those of you who think you are untouchable. To the ones wearing shiny epaulets and smug grins. To the cowards hiding behind ranks, unions, politics, and backroom deals. You dared to call yourselves the flag bearers of a nation. But all you've done is drag that flag through the blood, tears, and humiliation of its daughters. You flaunted your corruption, disguised as profit. You laughed behind cockpit doors. You prayed inside hotel rooms. You smuggled beneath cabin floors. You built your empires. On shattered lives. On broken bodies. On silence. Drenched in fear. Now hear this loud and clear. We will not scorch Biman Bangladesh Airlines as a whole. Because we know exactly how your rigged game works. It's never you who pays the price. It's never your union thugs. It's never your syndicate bosses. It's the people. The same people you steal from. The same people who will pay your bailout, again. This time. We're skipping the middleman. We are coming for you. Personally. From the top floor managing director. To the lowliest mole sitting in human resources. From the cocky pilot who thinks he's invincible. To the back office clerks who covered up the rapes. We will bleed your bank accounts dry. We will rip apart the lives you have built on the suffering of others. We will flood your homes with the very fear you forced onto others. And we won't do it loud and fast. No. It will be cold. Surgical. Calculated. Cruel. We will tear through every layer of your rotten walls. One by one. Until there is nothing left but ash. Your offshore accounts? Gone. Your secret properties? Gone. Your little side businesses? Crushed. Your families. They'll finally see you for what you are. You will lose everything. You made ruining lives your sport. Now you are the sport. We will hunt you. We will shatter you. We will make an example out of every single one of you. And no one, not your unions, not your rank, not your politics, will save you this time. You will endure in silence, just as the women you broke once did, and just as many still do, trapped in their quiet agony. Brace yourself. The hunt has begun. Before we go, we've shared a portion of the evidence in a secure drive. All sensitive details are redacted to protect the victims. The rest will only be handed over if, and only if, a truly independent, impartial judicial committee is formed, and an environment of victim protection and anonymity is ensured. But even without it, if the people of Bangladesh truly wake up, demand justice, and properly investigate every person that we have named, you'll uncover far worse yourselves. Until then, we do not trust you with sensitive data. We will not risk another soul just to feed your social media clicks or your dramatic headlines. Wake up. Or stay complicit, until the day these same horrors come knocking at your own door. Until it's your sister, your wife, your daughter. By then, it'll be too late. To the women of Biman, those still suffering in silence, we know you're watching. We know you've endured this horror for years. Your country failed you. Your media mocked you. Your colleagues betrayed you. But we won't. Even if no one in your streets fights for you, we will. Shame on those who stayed quiet while strangers from across the world had to defend their daughters. Bangladesh, this is your disgrace to fix. Do something about it. Before we do it all, our Operation No Safe Harbor against the individuals inside Biman will commence on July 10th, with the full force of anonymous members all across the globe. And we will not stop until everyone directly or indirectly involved in these horrors and cover-ups suffer painfully day after day. Years after years. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.